So Michael Popak, Legal AF, long after those folks are in jail, will still be practicing law. A new slogan for Legal AF on the MeidasTouch Network? No. A statement made by Fani Willis, the Fulton County District Attorney, to opposing defense counsel, including Steve Sadow, who represents currently Donald Trump in the Fulton County criminal prosecution for Georgia election interference and RICO conspiracy. This is new reporting that came out on emails that were at one point private between Fani Willis's office and Steve Sadow and others right after Thanksgiving on the 29th of November, coming out of some new reporting by The Guardian. And in particular, this email and this email exchange demonstrates a couple of problems for the defense team in having a lack of credibility with the prosecutors. First of all, Fani Willis, District Attorney Willis, took umbrage that she wasn't referred to as District Attorney Willis, a duly elected office she earned. She earned the right to have that title. If you're addressing a governor, it would be a Governor X or Mayor Y or State Attorney Z or U.S. Attorney blank, but it wouldn't be by their first name. You wouldn't call them Fani, and you wouldn't call them anything other than that. And she didn't like the fact that she's been referred to in email correspondence as, I don't want to say Dear Fani letters or emails, but she doesn't like that. She deserves better. There are a number of ways to address somebody in her position, and I've done it. It would my first lead would be District Attorney Willis. Secondly, it would be Madam District Attorney. If I'm in a courtroom, I may use that. I would never call her Fani, even if I knew her outside the office or from our prior professional relationship. And I certainly wouldn't just call her a low-line prosecutor. So that's one. Get the title right. It's a way to demean and diminish somebody, especially somebody of color who's prosecuting Donald Trump. We already know that outside that exchange, Donald Trump frequently bashes, especially people of color that are prosecuting him or investigating him, like the New York Attorney General, Letitia James, who he calls Peekaboo James, which is a horrible riff on a racist trope, Alvin Bragg, a black prosecutor who is the Manhattan District Attorney, and here, Fani Willis. So it's misogynist, it's racist, it's demeaning. And when an old white Southern male doesn't use the proper title for the district attorney who happens to be a woman and black, I think you can make the proper assumption about what's going on there. And so she's called that out. Secondly, she's reminded them to be professional. Don't sacrifice your professional ethics to serve the beast of your client because, and this is where the quote came in, we'll all be practicing law long after these folks are in jail. In other words, you'll see me again if you want to practice law in Fulton County. I'm not going anywhere. You know, the GOP's attempts to get rid of me at the state house level has failed. The governor's not going to support that. And I'm going to be reelected basically in Fulton County after this. So you're going to be seeing this face in that framed picture representing the people of Fulton County as their prosecutor for a long time. Be professional. Don't do what the other people that I've already taken plea deals from, Ken Chesbrough, Jenna Ellis, Sidney Powell, what they did as lawyers to sacrifice their professional ethics and character and lose their bar licenses to boot and become felons and convicted criminals in service of your client. So I think that's a very good recommendation to him. And the reason that came up is because they insinuated in emails, at least Steve Sadow did, the lawyer for Donald Trump, that the office of the district attorney is holding back and not producing information and discovery that's required, that they're hiding the ball. And she told them in no uncertain terms in the email exchange that got increasingly terse as it went back and forth. And I've been there. I know what increasingly terse emails look like. But she said, look, I've been practicing law. I've not been practicing law by hiding the ball. You'll get and you will have full production. In other words, I'll beat you in the courtroom with a full record. I'm not hiding the ball of anything. They were objecting because they got a partial, probably an inadvertent partial transcript of Rudy Giuliani's testimony to the special purpose grand jury and to the grand jury, really to the special purpose grand jury before the indictment came out. And I don't know, maybe a couple of pages were missing. It happens in a large production. But rather than insinuating, aha, you're hiding the transcript, She said, we're going to be doing this for a long time. Why don't you be more professional? Call me by my right name, and we'll get you the document in the next production. I'll track it down for you. But this is the friction that's going on, that's being reported between the Fulton County DA's office and the defense lawyers, who are not being respectful of that position, and they're getting it just as good as they're giving it from Fani Willis. They think she's bragging too much, and this is a long trial, and she's acting like she's already won it. You know what? She can have the braggadocio that comes with the office. She knows the evidence more than anybody else. She knows the evidence of the entire case in a way that the individual defendants, of which there are now 15 total, don't. They only have their world, their documents that relate to their world and their indictments. Maybe Sadow for Trump has a broader universe, but only she has the entire picture, the entire iceberg, just not the tip of it. And that's why she alone among the prosecutors out there is still going after Mark Meadows. Mark Meadows is cooperating, at least in a limited way, with the feds and the special counsel in the District of Columbia. Testified to the grand jury, will likely be testifying in front of a real jury in March, and is not even listed in the federal indictment as an unindicted co-conspirator at all. But is obviously cooperating based on certain statements that were made in the indictment. In Georgia, whole different ball of wax. She's got her own independent evidence of bad conduct as indicted, as alleged, against Mark Meadows in the state of Georgia, where he went to Coffee County and different places to try to influence the outcome of the election, stop the vote count, interfere with the vote count, and of course set up and participated in the most perfect phone call to Brad Raffensperger that was recorded by Donald Trump and Mark Meadows to try to pressure the Secretary of State to throw out mail-in and absentee ballots to let Donald Trump win the state. So she's got her own toolbox of evidence, unique from even whatever the Jan 6 committee had and even what Jack Smith has. She has completely drilled down, and she has Meadows in a box. And the reporting, in addition to what I've just reported about the tense exchange in these emails, is that she is going full bore against Mark Meadows. She's not going to cut a deal with Meadows, with Trump, or Giuliani. The other person I also think is in that category is Jeffrey Clark, because he's demonstrated nothing about his conduct or behavior or filings that indicates that he's interested in settling the case. I think he's interested in the restoration of the Trump presidency and him being named like Attorney General. And I think he's going to go down with the ship in Georgia regardless, because that Georgia trial is going to take place after the election. I think that election in November, if Donald Trump loses, which we expect, you're going to see people racing, running. It's going to be a land speed record to get to a DA Fani Willis's front door to try to cut a deal. Because some of these people are hoping, well, I'll just hold out, and when the boss gets reelected, I'll get a great job. And if he doesn't get elected, you won't. And they better then, race back. But the problem is that trial is going to start in the summer, may not complete until after the election, and that's what they're hoping for. So there's a lot of chess playing going on here, a lot of playing chicken by not the prosecutors, by defense lawyers and defendants to try to figure out the landscape and what is their best course of action. We'll continue to report what's going on in Georgia. We've done it on hot takes like this one. Mike Pence is going to testify in Georgia. I did a hot take on this one. That's going to happen. The plea deals that we've talked about, and now the new reporting about Fani Willis's exchange with the defense counsel, in which she's reminded them, we're going to be here long after your clients are going to go to jail. I love Fani Willis's approach to this case, her dedication, her focus, and her professionalism. And we'll continue to report on it here on the MeidasTouch Network. Help them get to 2 million free subscribers by free subscribing. They're really close. Give me a thumbs up and leave a comment in this hot take. It helps keep me on the air along the way. And then if you like this kind of hot take, who doesn't like hot takes? I love hot takes. Then you can watch us in a full curated podcast we call Legal AF. It's exactly what you think. It's on Wednesdays and Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You can watch us on YouTube Live while we record, and we'll dialogue with you and chat where we can, and then on audio podcast platforms of your choice. So until my next hot take, until my next Legal AF, this is Michael Popok reporting.
Hey, Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.